Okay, so in this video, we're going to cover what's called stand dynamics, which is just the kind of predictable development of forests over time. So one of the ways we kind of conceptualize the development of forests is through the development of individual trees. So one of the common ways to think about it is that we go from seeds to seedlings. Once those seedlings reach about 4.5 feet or taller in height, they've kind of graduated from a seedling size to what we call a sapling size. Now from saplings, they generally graduate into what's called pole-sized. Now that graduation is a little bit more fuzzy. It's not exactly clear what differentiates a sapling from a pole-sized tree. The way I kind of think about it is that a sapling-sized tree, you should be able to kind of bend over with one hand. Once you can no longer do that, it's graduated into a pole-sized tree. So a pole-sized tree typically is somewhere between like 4 to maybe 10 inches in diameter. Once you get larger than that, you graduate into what's called a sawlog-sized tree. So that's sort of the tree developmental stages over time. There are folks that have broken that tree developmental stage into kind of forest-wide characterization of different developmental stages. So there are 4 that are commonly recognized. When we have nothing but kind of seedlings and small saplings, we would call that the stand initiation stage. So a disturbance just occurred, maybe a harvest just occurred, or a big fire, or a tornado, whatever, and that forest is just starting to grow again. So we have pretty young trees, and we mostly are composed of seedlings and saplings. Once they get larger than saplings, and are mostly saplings and pole-sized trees, we've then graduated into what's called stem exclusion. That's the stage of development we're in right now, and we'll touch more on that in a bit. Once those trees have gotten a little bit larger, maybe pole-sized and sawlog-sized trees, we've graduated into understory reinitiation. And then finally, the last stage of development, the 4th stage, is called late successional. And that's typically what we think of when we're talking about a forest maybe 100+ years old, which we have a lot of here in the state of Virginia. So if we back up to our 2nd stage of stand development, which is called stem exclusion, the reason for that name of that stage is during this stage of stand development, we have a lot of trees, lots of trees all over the place. We kind of have a wall of wood behind us. The trees are small enough that they're actually not killing one another, vying for resources. So everybody can kind of survive and make a living for the time being. Eventually, some of these trees are going to lose out due to competition, and some trees are going to die while other trees live. So what's ideal about this stage of stand development is that because none of these trees have started to die yet, we actually have the full breadth of diversity available to us. We have all of the options, compositionally speaking, what species we want to keep out here, it's all on the table. We can keep whatever species we want because they're all represented. The fullest expression of diversity in terms of tree diversity is here right now. So this is actually an exciting stage to be working in because you have that breadth of diversity at your disposal. You can actually start making a lot of silvicultural decisions at this stage of stand development that will have a lasting impact on your stand.